Let's cut straight to it. For centuries, people have debated whether God exists. Some argue that science disproves God, while others claim it confirms a divine creator. But what if we told you that modern science has uncovered clues so compelling they shake the foundations of atheism? In the next few minutes, we're not just going to theorize, we're going to walk through scientific evidence that suggests something extraordinary: the existence of a creator. And trust me, this isn't your typical Sunday school argument. First, let's talk about the universe. Imagine for a second that you're trying to explain everything that exists: galaxies, stars, planets, life, and the very laws of nature. The Big Bang is the widely accepted theory of how it all began, describing a moment around 13.8 billion years ago when the universe expanded from an infinitely small, hot, dense point. But here's the kicker: why did it happen? What caused the universe to exist in the first place? Scientists can explain what happened after the Big Bang, but the moment before, that's still a mystery. Physics tells us that space, time, energy, and matter all originated in that singular event. Before that, there was nothing, not empty space, not time ticking away, just nothing. So how does something come from nothing? Every experiment, observation, and logical framework we use says that things don't just pop into existence without cause. Yet, here we are in a universe filled with incredible complexity and order. Something or someone must have caused it. You might hear arguments that quantum mechanics allows particles to appear out of nowhere, but even quantum mechanics requires a pre-existing framework: laws of nature, space, time, and energy fields. These laws didn't exist before the universe, so where did they come from? It's like discovering a fully functional operating system on a computer that's supposedly never been programmed. The question isn't just, how does it work? It's who or what put it there.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more topics you love.
This leads to another mind-blowing observation: the universe isn't just random chaos. It's finely tuned, like a machine engineered with precision. The constants of nature, the speed of light, the gravitational constant, the charge of an electron are so perfectly calibrated that even a tiny change would make life impossible. If gravity were slightly weaker, stars wouldn't form. If it were stronger, stars would burn out too quickly for planets to develop. And that's just one constant out of many. The odds of all these constants aligning perfectly by chance? Practically zero. It's like throwing darts at a dartboard the size of the universe and hitting the bullseye on every throw. Some call this the anthropic principle, arguing that the universe looks designed because we exist to observe it. But that doesn't explain why it's designed so well in the first place. A more plausible explanation: there's a designer behind it all. Now let's shift gears to life itself. When we look at DNA, we're staring at what many call the language of life. DNA is a molecule found in every cell, and it contains the instructions to build and maintain a living organism. These instructions are written in a specific sequence, like a code, using 4 chemical letters A, T, G, and C. The complexity of this code is staggering. A single strand of human DNA contains more information than a library of books. But here's the twist: where did this information come from? Random chance doesn't explain it. Think about it: if you stumbled upon a fully functional software program, would you assume it wrote itself? Of course not. Information always comes from an intelligent source. Whether it's the instructions in DNA or the coding in your favorite app, there's always a programmer. This isn't just a philosophical argument, it's a principle supported by science. But it gets crazier. The process of life itself, even at its simplest, is a symphony of molecular machines working together in harmony. Proteins fold into precise shapes to perform their jobs. Cells communicate with each other through complex chemical signals. And all of this happens without conscious effort. The level of organization is so intricate that scientists like Francis Crick, co-discoverer of DNA's structure, admitted it's hard to believe it happened without some guiding force. Some argue that evolution explains it all. Evolution can explain how life adapts and changes over time, but it doesn't explain how life began. The leap from non-living chemicals to a self-replicating, information-storing system like DNA is still one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in science. Natural processes alone don't seem to be enough. So, what's the alternative? The evidence points to something beyond nature, something capable of creating systems so advanced that even our smartest scientists are still trying to figure them out. But let's not stop there. Let's talk about something even more profound: consciousness. Despite all our technological advancements, we still don't understand why we experience the world the way we do. Think about your ability to think, feel, dream, and imagine. Consciousness isn't just neurons firing in your brain, it's your awareness of those neurons firing. No one has fully explained how this subjective experience arises from physical matter. Here's the wild part: some theories suggest that consciousness isn't just a byproduct of the brain, but a fundamental aspect of reality itself. If that's true, then consciousness might be a clue to something greater, a connection to a universal mind, or what some might call God. It's not just about individual awareness, but the idea that all consciousness could stem from one source. Take a moment to process this. If the universe is fine-tuned, if life requires an intelligent cause, and if consciousness hints at something beyond the physical, then we're not just talking about random coincidences. We're seeing a pattern. A pattern that points toward purpose, intention, and design. Here's where it gets interesting. If science suggests the existence of a creator, what does that mean for us? What does it say about the way we live our lives, the way we treat each other, and the way we see ourselves in the grand scheme of things? Is it possible that the universe is more than just a collection of particles and forces? Could it be the work of something or someone who intended for us to exist? Let's keep building on this. The deeper we go, the more it becomes clear the universe isn't just a random accident. It operates with rules so precise and intricate that they seem intentional. And now, we're going to take this further by exploring something even more personal: the role you play in this vast, finely tuned system. Think about the sheer improbability of you being alive right now. You are a collection of trillions of cells, each one acting like a miniature city with billions of chemical reactions happening every second. These cells are built from molecules, which are made of atoms, which are governed by forces that were set into motion billions of years ago. Every single one of these steps had to align perfectly for you to exist. But here's where things get fascinating. Not only do you exist, but you have the ability to question, explore, and reshape the world around you. No other known creature in the universe does this at the level we do. While other animals adapt to their environment, humans change the environment to fit their needs. We build skyscrapers, write symphonies, send rockets to other planets, all using intelligence that no evolutionary algorithm fully explains. How does random mutation and survival of the fittest lead to Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, or the theory of relativity? This brings us to a concept scientists struggle to explain: human exceptionalism. Humans aren't just physically advanced animals, we're something entirely different. Our capacity for abstract thought, creativity, and morality is unmatched. Why do we have a sense of right and wrong? Why do we seek purpose and meaning, even when survival doesn't depend on it? These traits don't make much sense from a purely evolutionary standpoint, but they make perfect sense if we were created with intention. Let's go deeper. Morality isn't just a social construct. Across cultures and throughout history, humans have shared an innate sense of good and evil, justice and injustice. Sure, the details differ, but the core values protecting the innocent, valuing truth, punishing wrongdoing are universal. This moral compass doesn't come from nature. In nature, the strong dominate the weak, and survival is all that matters. Yet, humans aspire to something higher. Why? One possibility is that our moral sense reflects the nature of the Creator. If we're part of a system designed with purpose, then morality might be the code written into us, a way to align with the intentions of the Creator. It's not just about avoiding harm, it's about striving for something greater, something transcendent. And it doesn't stop at morality. The human drive for meaning is perhaps the strongest clue of all. Every culture, no matter how isolated, has looked for answers to the big questions: why are we here? What's the point of all this? Is there something beyond what we see? This universal search hints at something embedded in us, almost as if we were programmed to look for our Creator. But let's pause for a second. If all this points to a Creator, why isn't the evidence undeniable? Why doesn't God just reveal Himself in a way no one could ignore? This is where some of the most profound ideas come into play. If the Creator designed the universe with purpose, then the Creator likely values freedom for life to grow, freedom for humans to make choices. An undeniable, in-your-face display of divine power would force belief, stripping away that freedom. Instead, the clues are everywhere, but it's up to us to see them, to connect the dots. The universe invites curiosity and exploration, but it doesn't coerce belief. Now, let's move from the abstract to the personal. If this universe is designed, and if life and consciousness aren't accidents, then that has implications for every one of us. You aren't just a random collection of particles. You're part of a system with meaning. The atoms in your body were forged in stars billions of years ago, and now they've come together to form something capable of thinking, creating, and loving. That's not a coincidence. And this brings us to the most powerful point of all. If science points to a Creator, then everything about your existence is connected to that Creator. Your ability to think, to wonder, to create their reflections of the same intelligence that set the universe into motion. When you create something beautiful, when you act with kindness, when you push the boundaries of knowledge, you're participating in the same process that built galaxies. So what do you do with this knowledge? If the universe is purposeful, then your life has purpose. That doesn't mean you're destined to do one specific thing. It means you have the ability to choose to contribute, to grow, to be part of the ongoing story of creation. You're not a spectator in the universe, you're an active participant in its design. Let's circle back to where we started, the relationship between science and God. The two aren't enemies, they're partners. Science reveals how the universe works, while the concept of God answers the deeper questions of why it exists and what it all means. The more we learn through science, the more we uncover the depth of the design. It's like studying a painting. The closer you look, the more detail and intention you see. At some point, you stop questioning whether the painting has an artist. The real question becomes, what is the artist trying to say? We've covered a lot of ground, But there's still one more layer to peel back. If all this evidence points to a creator, what does that mean for the future? Well, for the way we interact with the universe and each other? That's where the real magic lies. So now we're at a critical point. If science hints at a creator, and if we're part of a purposeful system, the next question is obvious: what do we do with this knowledge? This isn't just about believing in the existence of God, it's about understanding what that means for our lives, our choices, and the future of humanity. Let's start with a fundamental observation. If the universe was created with intention, then everything in it, including you, has significance. That means you're not just here to drift through life or passively observe the world around you. You have the ability to influence the system, to shape it, to improve it. But here's the twist: this isn't just about power, it's about responsibility. Think of it like this: every action you take sends ripples through the universe. Your thoughts, words, and decisions don't exist in a vacuum. They affect the people around you, the environment, and even future generations. If the universe was designed with purpose, then your actions contribute to that purpose or push against it. And this is where science ties back into the question of God in an incredible way. Take a look at the natural world. Every part of it works in balance. Ecosystems are interconnected, species rely on one another, and even the stars play a role in maintaining the universe's structure. This balance suggests a design principle: collaboration, not chaos. If we mirror this principle, it changes the way we live. Instead of focusing on personal gain at the expense of others, we start to see ourselves as part of a larger whole. That doesn't mean losing your individuality, it means using your unique abilities to contribute to something greater. This is where purpose becomes personal. What do you bring to the table? What talents, skills, or ideas do you have that could make the world better? Now, let's connect this back to morality. If the universe operates on principles of balance and order, then morality might be more than a human invention, it might be embedded in the fabric of reality. When we act with kindness, fairness, and respect, we align ourselves with this balance. When we act with selfishness or cruelty, we disrupt it. This idea isn't just spiritual, it's practical. Societies that prioritize cooperation, justice, and mutual respect thrive. Those that don't collapse. But here's the challenge: aligning with the Creator's design isn't always easy. Life is full of complexity, temptation, and uncertainty. And yet this is where science and faith intersect in the most meaningful way. Science teaches us that growth often comes through struggle. Stars form under intense pressure, ecosystems flourish through cycles of life and death, and even the evolution of species requires challenges to overcome. If the universe itself grows through challenges, then maybe we're meant to as well. Let's look at consciousness. Earlier, we talked about how the human ability to think and reflect sets us apart. But this ability also makes life harder. We're aware of our limitations, our mortality, and our flaws. That awareness can lead to fear, doubt, and suffering. But it's also what makes growth possible. When you face challenges, you have a choice: retreat into fear or rise to the occasion. And when you choose growth, you're participating in the same creative process that shaped the universe. Now let's get practical. If the universe was designed with purpose, and if your actions matter, how do you live in a way that reflects this? It starts with small, intentional changes. Every decision, no matter how minor, is a chance to contribute to the balance and beauty of the system. It could be as simple as treating someone with kindness, pursuing knowledge to expand your understanding, or creating something that inspires others. And here's the kicker: when you live with this mindset, everything changes. You stop seeing the world as random or meaningless. Every challenge becomes an opportunity. Every person you meet becomes part of the story. And every moment becomes a chance to align with something bigger than yourself. This brings us to one final idea: the future. If science proves anything, it's that the universe is constantly evolving. Stars are born and die, ecosystems adapt, and human understanding grows. The same is true for us. The Creator's design isn't static, it's dynamic. And that means we're not just part of the design, we're part of its ongoing creation. Every innovation, every act of compassion, every step forward adds to the masterpiece. So here's the real question: what will you add to it? Will you be a passive observer, or will you take an active role in shaping the future? This isn't about perfection. It's about progress. The universe itself isn't perfect, it's constantly in motion, constantly evolving. And maybe that's the whole point. The Creator didn't just design the universe to exist, the Creator designed it to grow. And that includes you.